We're also following the latest on the trade war brewing between the U.S. and China. President Trump officially imposed tariffs on $34 billion worth of Chinese products. Beijing fired back with its own tariffs on certain American goods. Now, the back and forth between the world's largest economies is expected to hurt companies and consumers in both the U.S. and China. And for more on this, I want to bring in CBSN contributor Willis Sparks. He writes for Signal, a newsletter produced by GZERO Media. Now, Willis, today's newsletter highlights President Trump's belief, saying that they're going to have the stronger hand, that we're going to have the stronger hand versus China. Why does he believe that?
Well, first of all, I mean, you said unemployment's at 4%. He feels good about that. Stock market's probably priced in, at least these first rounds. The stock market has been doing very well. The economy continues to grow strong. And President Trump believes, as he said many times, it's like, look, we're buying more of their stuff than they are of ours, so we got more stuff that we can slap tariffs on than they do. Ultimately, we're holding the stronger hand. Here's the problem. The problem is that the Chinese also believe that they have a very strong hand, because their point of view is, it is true that the Chinese economy may be more vulnerable to tariffs than the U.S. economy, but there's a lot of things we can do beyond tariffs that will hurt the U.S. economy, hurt U.S. companies, hurt U.S. consumers. And even if China is a little more vulnerable than the U.S. in some areas, President Trump personally, politically, is more vulnerable than Xi Jinping, who doesn't have to worry about winning Michigan and Pennsylvania, or pleasing farmers in certain areas of the country, or dealing with special interest groups of Chinese companies.
And no midterm.
And no midterm elections, no elections, period. Now, he does have to worry about public opinion, Xi Jinping. It's not like he doesn't have to care how much pain is being imposed in China. But he knows that President Trump is going to have to be more sensitive to political pain than he is, just because of the nature of their political system. Midterm elections coming up first Tuesday in November. Republicans in Congress are very nervous. A lot of their friends in the business community are very nervous. This is the first round. I think this is going to be going for a while.
And world economies don't like rich people nervous.
That's right. And what we're talking about here, let's be clear, is the beginning of a trade war that is officially on now between the world's #1 and #2 economies. And that scares a lot of people, and for good reason.
And China's language, China's Ministry of Commerce says the U.S. has, quote, launched the biggest trade war in economic history so far. This is China saying this.
Yeah.
Now, is that true? And what are going to be some of the direct impacts of the consumers here in the U.S., mom and pop, maybe in the Midwest? What are they going to see?
Well, first of all, I'll leave it to economists to compare this with other trade wars of the past. I mean, there certainly have been a few going back to the 1930s in response to the Depression, etc. But I will say that this has the potential to turn into a big deal. It's not this first round of $34 billion or the $16 billion that we might add a couple of weeks from now. But President Trump is talking about moving to $200 billion in the next round. That is a big second step.
That's an escalation.
And China has said, if you do it, we will automatically match you. We won't hit you first and we won't top you, but we will match you blow for blow. And if that's not enough, then President Trump was talking yesterday about going toward $500 billion. That's real money.
Yeah.
So, you know, the pain right now that I think that some of the people that you're asking about are feeling is the pain that they are expecting to feel based on where they think this might be headed. Because remember, farmers make decisions about how much to plant and when to plant well in advance. And businesses do the same. They're trying to plan for a very, very uncertain future that no one can really predict at this point.